What if we told you a simple number could determine whether you're healthy, overweight, or underweight, but it might also be completely useless? What if that same number has been used for decades to guide health decisions, even though it was created before we even understood things like muscle mass, genetics, and, modern medicine? And what if we said that number could tell a bodybuilder they're obese and a couch potato that they're totally fine? Welcome to the world of BMI, the body mass index. Does it really matter? Should you be worried about yours? And how do we even end up with this odd, slightly questionable measurement in the first place? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what BMI can and can't tell you. Alright, let's start with the basics. What actually is BMI? Well, it's a simple formula: your weight in kilograms divided by your height in meters squared. Sounds fancy, but all it really does is take two numbers, height and weight, and spit out a third number that supposedly tells you where you fall on the healthy scale. According to the standard BMI chart, a score under 18.5 means you're underweight, 18.5 to 24.9 is considered normal weight, 25 to 29.9 is overweight, and 30 or above is obese. Seems straightforward, right? Well, not so fast. Here's where things get interesting. Or, depending on how you feel about math-based life judgment, frustrating. Ever wonder who came up with BMI? Was it a team of top-tier doctors? A panel of nutritionists? A bunch of scientists in lab coats arguing over salad? No. It was a 19th century mathematician named Adolphe Quetelet. And he wasn't even trying to figure out health. He was just interested in finding the average man. Yep, BMI was never meant to be a measure of individual health. And yet, here we are, using it like a universal truth. So, why do we still use it? Well, it's simple, cheap, and easy. No fancy tests, no complicated calculations. Just plug in two numbers and boom, instant health assessment. But here's the problem. BMI doesn't know why you weigh what you do. It doesn't care if your weight is coming from fat, muscle, bones, or that epic cheat meal you had last night. It just sees a number and sorts you into a category like an online quiz that decides your entire personality based on one question: oversimplified, questionable, and probably way off. Which brings us to a big question. Can BMI actually tell you if you're healthy? Short answer, sometimes. Long answer, only if you take it with a huge grain of salt. Because BMI doesn't measure body composition, two people with the same BMI can have completely different health profiles. Imagine a professional athlete and someone who's completely sedentary. They might have the exact same BMI, but one is all muscle and the other, well, let's just say they're really dedicated to their Netflix marathons with a body sculpted more by couch cushions than by gym equipment. And then there's the issue of diversity. BMI was developed using European men from the 1800s as a reference. So if you're not a European dude from 200 years ago, BMI might not be telling you the whole story. Studies have shown that BMI doesn't account for differences in muscle mass, bone density, or even genetic factors that vary between different ethnic groups. But wait, if BMI is so flawed, why do doctors still use it? Well, to be fair, BMI can be useful as a general screening tool. It gives a rough idea of trends in weight and population health. The problem happens when people treat it like the gospel of health. If your BMI is high, does that automatically mean you're unhealthy? Not necessarily. If it's low, does that mean you're in perfect shape? Definitely not. Here's the real kicker. Some studies suggest that being in the overweight BMI range might actually be linked to lower mortality rates compared to the normal category. Yep, you heard that right. Being slightly above the so-called ideal BMI might actually be protective in some cases. But before you use that as an excuse to skip the gym forever, remember, BMI isn't the full picture. So, if BMI isn't the gold standard, what should you be looking at instead? Well, some experts suggest waist-to-hip ratio, body fat percentage, or even simple lifestyle factors like how active you are, what you eat, and how you feel day to day are far better indicators of overall health. Think about it. Would you rather trust a number on a chart or how well your body actually functions? And let's not forget mental health. Stress, sleep, and emotional well-being all play a huge role in overall health. Someone with a perfect BMI but constant stress and bad sleep habits might actually be worse off than someone with a higher BMI who takes care of their mental and physical well-being. Because let's be real, health isn't just about a number, it's about the whole picture. Let's talk about another fun twist. BMI also doesn't distinguish between different types of fat. There's subcutaneous fat, the kind you can pinch, and visceral fat, the kind that surround your organs. Someone with a normal BMI but a high amount of visceral fat might actually be at greater risk for health issues than someone classified as overweight but carrying more muscle and less harmful fat. So once again, BMI is missing a big chunk of the story. Alright, let's sum it up. BMI is like that one friend who gives really broad advice. It kind of makes sense, but it doesn't know your life. It's a decent starting point, but it's not the final word on health. So if your BMI says you're overweight or underweight, take a deep breath, step back, and look at the bigger picture. Your health is about so much more than just a number. If you found this video helpful, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more no-nonsense health breakdowns. And now tell us in the comments, have you ever been surprised by your BMI score? Maybe it said something completely different than what you expected? Let's talk about it. And here's some information you probably didn't know you needed. Check out this video right here.